Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of my Infinity Battle Reports. This time we'll be playing White Banner against OSS in a TRbot tournament. Well, I'll be showing you round 2 of the event, because round 1 is available to watch on the Foxbringer channel. We played on stream. I will link it in the description below. But just a disclaimer, this was not really a great game for me, because I have not read what the BPONG requires specialists, and I came to the mission without specialists, so I kinda couldn't win the game anyways, and well, Foxbringer guided me into submission then once, whatever. Anyways, if you want to watch me getting crushed, feel free to press the link in the description and go watch the event. This time we'll be playing White Banner as a break from Pan-Oceania, because I feel that White Banner, after some recent updates, they are very good and very cool army to play into the hacking heavy guided missile launcher heavy meta, because they have an access to a really strong hacker engineer firewall combo that I feel can basically turn the tables on the pitcher guided missile launcher play. And I have not yet so far been able to test this in practice, but hopefully before the event comes to an end and sometime in the future I will be able to test the theory in the practice. Without further ado, this is the list I'm talking about, and the key stars of the show are the Engineer Jujek, and then there is the Shang-Chi Tactical Awareness with, very importantly, Firewall -6, and to round out the duo is the Dokebi Killer Hacker with the pitches. We're taking the Killer Hacker with the combi rifle and pitcher because she is going to, well, she or he, whatever, the robot is going to do killer hacking, and the idea is that once the enemy deploys a repeater or shoots a repeater into you, you can basically come up to them with your own firewall -6 and basically brute force through their own repeater, trying to kill every single hacker. Even against Bakunin, when they are running 3 hackers that I've showcased previously on my channel, you know, the Varan list, so-called, it's still doable to basically brute force through the repeater with entirety of your orders just to kill all of the hackers. And just to make this worthwhile, we have a firewall of our own, and we'll also bring an engineer with the fire team. So the idea is that the Dokebi enters the repeater area, exits the repeater area, and basically killer hacks through the repeater, and if she gets oblivioned, wounded, or whatever happens to her, Jujek can basically instantly fix her, and then you can go again into the repeater and repeat the process. The pitchers are basically a cherry on top, because you can actually shoot the pitchers into enemy hackers and fry them, thus basically shutting down the loathsome guided missile launcher from play. So this is basically the idea, this is the star of the show, that I have not yet been able to test in practice. But to round up the list, we're running a Zanshi core with a missile launcher, and we have the basically our LT, a decoy, a paramedic, and then we have a Spec Ops. Spec Ops with a sniper rifle, mimetism, just to have another gunfighter in the fire team. We also have a Liang Kai plus Shaolin battery, so Liang Kai plus Shaolin, cheap, disposable, get access to smoke. Liang Kai is quite good. They lose Impetuous, and Shaolin for 6 points makes Netrot players sad. Then we basically have the package of Langia Mind Layers, because Langias are absolutely good and you should always take them. And we have a Zanshi Yisheng, a Doctor, to basically supplement our Shang Jesus and our Fire Team core, because we already have an Engineer. And because we have an Engineer, we're taking a Rushi with a Spitfire. Since this is a Harris Engineer, it might be able to basically Gizmo Kit the Rushi back to life, and Rushi provides the list with a very much needed multispectral visor against mostly defensive smoke throwing. Rushi is not exactly greatest at going through hard arrows with mimetism without the hacking basically, or like smoke shooting, but Rushi is really good at preventing the enemy from smoke dodging, so this is more to that. And finally, I already have the pitches, so I figured I want a hacker in the list. And since I'm not taking a hacker in the fire team because I have access to a Spec Ops, I decided to go for a good old Gulag hacker with a hacking device. He's gonna be sitting under a camo. Maybe he will surprise my opponent through the pitcher or through basically his own hacking. And at the end of the day, he's a specialist with a combi rifle, MSV, multispec, MSV plus mimetism. basically a gulag, right? Then we're playing against OSS, and OSS is running a neat package of Dakinis, supplemented with the Deva with actually a Feuerbach and MSV. Then we have the Shukra LT, because I suppose there is no other good LT. Dart, because Dart is basically a very good piece. And we have a very obvious proxies. Well, usually you should take the engineer because you're taking Dakinis, right? And the hacker, it's either a hacker or a multi-sniper rifle, right? It's basically a personal preference. This time my opponent decided to go with a proxy with a boarding shotgun, but I personally am more of a fan of the sniper rifle, seeing that the SWC supports this. However, my opponent decided to go for something rather unique that I have not yet seen in OSS, which is basically the Arjuna FTO with 2 Davans. So I had to basically double look what the Arjuna does because I have never seen it at the table, and honestly speaking I don't think it's that bad. It's a mimetic Spitfire with tactical awareness, and now in OSS it's basically supplemented by 2 karate bots with templates, multi-pistols, crazy good in close combat, total immunity, excellent, basically absurd profile, just to speak. And then we have an Evo hacker because, you know, entire list runs on remotes, so basically you have to take the Evo. So this is the table we'll be playing on, and worth of noting is that this table is basically train, and there is basically like no line of fire through the trains. Like any line of fires that will be available are like some very deep long lanes from the containers, and basically they stop at around this area. So this area generally is an 3B zone, right? You can basically walk through the middle of the table without being contested at all, and this makes it very easy to basically rush into the deployment zone with the shortest possible route and just start murdering things on the other side of the table. I'm not exactly a fan of this table because I didn't really have any agency over or control over the board from my opponent, and I basically I just got boom rushed turn 1 and there was nothing I could do, and the true was in reverse for my opponent. So I won the lieutenant role. I decided to deploy second on this side of the table because we're playing Battleground, which for those that don't know is basically controlling the zones like frontline with less steps because there are no caps. So, worth noting, there is the Dakini, and then, sorry, this is the Deva, there is the Dakini, there is the bots basically surrounded, so the fire team is basically located here, supplemented with the bot for the engineer, Evo, just to get the 18-inch range bubble for the support wear, Shukra, located here, then we have a flashbot here and flashbot here, right, 2 flashbots basically. Then Dart is deployed here, basically, Dart. And the MK is gonna be located here. And then finally we have the very big scary Harris fire team of Arjuna and 2 Deva bots. So as I already can see on this table, this fire team will be definitely not really going anywhere, since it's very awkward to basically jump down from the containers, and just going through this long approach is not really doable for Dakinis, because once they get into my side of the table, we will be fighting into template ranges, and the HMG plus the multi-sniper don't want to do that. So the only thing I need to be worried is the Dart here and this fire team. And again, because of the table setup, there is no way for me to contest this approach. I try to do my best anyways, and I basically deploy the fire team all prone around this area, so basically there is no line of fire from the enemy fire team because I don't want to take gunfights. This is the sniper rifle, this is the missile launcher, and actually the missile launcher sees basically inside of 6 inches. He doesn't see anything, because if he would be seeing anything, then the Deva or the Dakini just basically deletes him, so there's no point in leaving him to arrow. There is the also Spec Ops, because once the Spec Ops get up, he can shoot into either the Deva or the Dakini and take those face-to-face rolls if I need to take them, because I have best 3 sniper rifles against best 2 Feuerbachs, generally speaking. I supplement this fire team with the Shaolin and the Liankai just to protect myself from the Deva bots that the karate bots that I know are coming. And then I have the basically Longias, which can provide some meaningful arrows inside of this area, but again, those are not really great areas. All of them will be inside of 16 inches, so there is not really a range advantage over the Spitfire. Then there is the Gulag here, which is able to screen out the Dakinis from command, and my big fire aim is basically located around this area. With the Shang-Chi here, there is the Hacker, and there is the Jujak basically. And they are ready to take the fight into the fire team here, and then basically go through the middle. Finally, the Rushi is located here, and this is basically the only spot where the Rushi won't get zapped turn 1. So, let's just get into the turn 1 of my opponent. So, as I predicted, I strip orders from the fire team of Arjuna, which is 1 because of counter intelligence, and I basically start maneuvering all the way around here. They basically get into the fight against the Liankai. The Liankai first fails to dodge out of the way with inside of the 8-inch dodge range. Then basically the bot face checks him. Liankai fails the dodge again and basically is deleted by a multi-pistol using shock rounds. Then the same Deva bots basically start running through this area and they get against one of my monks. So the bots will be here. The monk will dodge inside of the area to threaten with a chain rifle against one of the karate bots. So the karate bot runs up here. I dodge that somewhere along the way. I think he discovers the Longias, or he moves in such a way that he can bounce the templates. No way, sorry. Basically, the karate bot goes here and threatens the Spec Ops. That's here. Spec Op dodges out of the way, and the monk basically chain rifles back. The bot chain rifles both of them. Monk miraculously survives. This guy gets out of the way. Then the karate bot runs around here, threatens to bounce templates onto the Longia. The Longia dodges away. The monk chain rifles the bot. This Longia shoots the bot, and basically the bot is KI'd, the monk is KI'd, but everyone else survives. And at that point, this basically means that this guy has to dodge out of the way from the karate bots. So again, this is the engagement in question. So this guy actually has to dodge this way, or he will basically get zapped by the other chain rifle bot. And this is a very big mistake that I make, because I was much better at taking this face-to-face rolls with a combi rifle, but instead I dodge in the position where I'm now visible from the Deva. And my opponent, rightfully so, tries to take this engagement. So the Deva shoots into this guy. He takes like 2 or 3 face-to-face rolls, which I win all of them, and Deva takes a wound in the process, surviving all of the other shots. Then the Dakini actually jumps over here, then moves again, and engages my Zanshi. I crit the Dakini off the table. I hit it, I beat it, it goes unconscious. Then my opponent has to basically jump the helper bot into base to base with the Dakini, revive it. The Dakini tries to take the same engagement one more time, and then I crit it off the table with a crit DA round followed by 3 failed armor rolls. So I put a wound in the Deva, I basically delete the Dakini, and then finally my opponent reforms the fire team. Deva shoots once more time into the Zanshi and finally puts it unconscious. So very lucky for me, because this basically stalled out most of my opponent's turn, and the only orders he had left was the dart that was able to move around here and delete this Rishi. And then finally the Arjuna moved down here, and both of them moved around here, but they were out of orders, and the only thing they managed to do was basically delete the Longia here, delete the Longia here. So after the end of the turn, the casualties look for me like this, with blue. So Liankai, and then there is the Monk, Longia, and I killed the Dakini, and I killed 1 karate bot. So not a great start, but not exactly terrible either, right? So I open up my turn with the big play of the fire team. They start moving around this way. They come around here and basically engage into the Deva. And I think 2 bursts. I need 1 or 2 orders with Shang-Chi to basically kill the Deva. I then try to engage the bot. I delete the bot with the Shang-Chi's. I try to go for the dart, but she dodges away, or like gasses away. I then have to send the Judek Engineer, template her, triple template, remove the dart from the equation, and then basically end up occupying this space. And on the way in, I basically revive this Longia, and with group 2, this Rishi tries to engage the Arjuna, but the Arjuna basically wins this face-to-face rolls and puts the Arushi down. So I kill this one, I kill this one, I kill this one, I kill this one. But I revive it with the last order of the Jujak basically, and I'm left occupying this space. So far so good. Again, the fire team in question will be in this location basically. So my opponent is now just left one Arjuna bot and then some other stuff basically. But Arjuna opens up strong, moves around here, engages the missile launcher, deletes it, moves around here, tries to take the face-to-face rolls against Jansi, but it's inconclusive. I hit it, but it tanks. Moves again, takes one more volley into something, but fails to kill it, and it basically from this position moves to here, deleting the missile launcher along the way. Tries to shoot into my this Zanshi, but again I win the face-to-face or the Arjuna tanks. Then finally the engineer moves here and puts herself into suppressive, and then this proxy moves all the way here, taking a long way, and basically comes to challenge my face-to-face team. So the proxy goes up here and basically puts 2 templates on my fire team. I try to dodge with the Jujak, fail, take a wound. I try to hack with the Dokebi, fail, take 2 wounds, but go NWI. But the Shank Jesus tanks both hits and basically chain codes her, and because Shank Jesus has shock, BS attack shock, chain code is shock, so removes the proxy from the equation. So this is basically a very strong position for me to play from. So the fire team basically moves around here. The Shank Jesus, moves through here. There is the proxy here. I basically chain. She responds with suppressive fire. I chain call her twice with a suppressive. She fails to do any wounds to me and basically dies. Shank Jesus then goes back, shoots this. Well, this flash put should be dead already, but basically I shoot the Arjuna. I put it out of equation, and then I try to take face-to-face rolls against the Dakinis. HMG, but it's inconclusive. I take a wound in the process and basically retreat all of my stuff to this side of the table. Then it's my opponent's last turn basically, and what he does is he marksmanships the HMG. The HMG starts running all the way around here and tries to engage my Spec Ops. He has one more time a shot out of cover, but he rolls low, the Spec Ops rolls high, and the Dakin is basically once again killed by the Spec Ops with a sniper rifle, who I would just like to remind you is basically 11-point Zanshi, free sniper rifle with a mimetism. So it's all up to me, and the rest of the turn 3 is basically F3B. Gulang moves up, the fire team moves through the middle, shoots some basically cheap disposable stuff, and then the Rishi basically makes all the way around here, deletes this bot, and this leaves me with all quadrants scored, because this quadrant is scored by the Rishi, the Longia, the middle is scored by the fire team, and Rishi is scoring this one. So this leaves me with a 10-1. Cool game anyways, but I think very, very lucky for me, specifically considering this guy took like 5 orders, killed the Dakini, put a wound on the Deva, killed the other Dakini, survived the entirety of the game, and then the fire team basically just going through my opponent's stuff like knife through butter. And yeah, not really much more to say, because the table had again trains there was no hard arrows for me to play with. I think my opponent played a rather good game. I wouldn't really say anything against my opponent's play. I think he's just very unlucky with the fact that both Deva and the Dakini had spent so much resources, and Dakini even died on the Spec Ops. I still think this was the best fight he could ever take, since he was in cover, I was not in cover. But sometimes dice go dice, and yeah, that's about it. The only minor mistake I think is basically putting the bots and the Arjuna here, since the bot and the karate bot and the Arjuna here allowed me to pressure them or basically kill them. And I think instead of going one more time against me, they could have retreated to this area and then used the karate bot to basically shred through my fire team. But since the karate bot was left here, I was able to take it out with a Shang-Chi very cleanly, and this basically left my opponent with no tools of his own. And again, since this was the engagement that took so many resources, I think just going with the dart through the middle was not really worthwhile. Like, he killed the Longias, but not exactly, because it only put her unconscious. And since those guys already burned through so many resources, Dart didn't have enough resources to basically execute an attack run. So what I think should have the Dart done instead is basically try to hide somewhere there and try to use her turn to for example, EM grenade my fire team. But again, this is basically me spitballing the ideas because the game was kinda skewed just for how lucky my Spec Ops was. So, again, thanks very much for your watching. I really hope you enjoyed this battle report of me playing White Banner, and I promise you that there should be at the very least 6 more coming in the most recent time, since I will be playing 3 more rounds of TRbot, and then basically a 3-round local event, and after that I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing for Infinity. Anyways, have a good one, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.